Who's the one? I can't tell. I don't know. And it was so cool. Whatever. Read whatever the hell you want. You couldn't pry that book from my hand if you tried. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jess. I like to read and I like to talk about reading. So if that is also you, then you are in the right place. We are back at it again with our weekly reading update. We are starting it off again where every time I finish a book, or I feel like I need to update, I come on here and take you along with me throughout the week as I finish my books. With that being said, today is Monday, September 1st, and it is fall! It's finally fall. The weather is finally starting to feel like fall. Last night, I finished A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly by Sophia St. Germain. Guys, I am obsessed. I am so obsessed with that. I had so much fun. The political intrigue in that is so interesting. It's got like an election-based political system where you can nominate yourself. You have to complete these tasks to become a final nominee, and then the public vote for you. That was so interesting. I've never seen a book done like that, especially fantasy romance. So that was really fun. I liked that. Not to mention, I was like 60% into the book and I still had no idea who the main male love interest was. I love when books do that. I love when I literally cannot tell who is the one. Who's the one? I can't tell. I don't know. And it was so cool. It was so fun. I love when books do that. I eat it up every single time. If you didn't watch my last reading update, essentially our FMC Lesia, she is half fae, half human, and the half fae are really despised. They are really looked down upon. There's very much so a dislike between human and fae, and when they intermingle and procreate, they don't like that. People don't like that. Society doesn't like that. But they have either mental or elemental powers. So the mental could be like they control your thoughts. They can make you do certain things, have illusions, or you have elemental like fire, water, air, etc. She had a run-in with the Fae King and he threw her into his dungeon for like years. I'm talking years. My poor sweet baby. She has some trauma from that. She is trying to work through her trauma, trying to conquer that, trying to be the one that comes out on top for her friend. This has some found family. She's basically running a tavern within the city and trying to help out everybody. She is the one that is running this business and trying to help everybody out. When she is suddenly approached by the Fae King, he tells her, hey, I need you to run for this regent position of this land. I don't want you to win, but I want you to go in and spy on what the other regions are doing to kind of figure out what's happening. There's like this mystery element that's happening and I need you to do that for me. Now, if she was caught doing that, that would be an active war between the Fae and the humans. Like they already don't like each other. Things are already tense. So then they add fuel to the fire by, if she's caught and branded as a traitor in that sense. She has sworn a blood oath with the Fae King, so she has no choice. And he's like, if you do this for me, then you could potentially win your freedom and you would never have to see me again, So it's like, she literally has no choice. She has to do it. Oh my gosh. I had so much fun with this. I will say it is a little bit of a slow in terms of like the story, the plot pickup. It's definitely like you got to let it cook for about 100 pages. And then once that happens, then you're good to go. Then things are happening. A couple things I will say I did find predictable, but then the end, I had to pick up my jaw off the floor because the ending was crazy. It was so crazy. And I was fighting everything in my body not to download the second book and just dive immediately into it. I will, but that brings me to my next point is I just started, I feel like an idiot, first of all, because when I created all my YouTube and my TikTok, I created a Gmail account to go along with it. I didn't want to use my personal account for all these, for like my professional reading business account. So I created a Gmail. Long story short, I signed up to be a part of an ARC team for Greenwich and Lennox for their new release, The Ascended. I had seen that people were getting their ARC copies and I'm like, shit, dang, I must have not gotten picked. That's okay, whatever. Fast forward to yesterday when I decided to deep dive into my email and I somehow found it hidden in my email. Like, oh my God, I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I am not technologically advanced, so. But anyhow, I did start reading The Ascended by Greenwich and Lennox. Now this comes out in October, I believe, but I was so excited. When I saw that email, I immediately ran down the stairs, told my husband, like, I'm an idiot. first of all. I'm a part of their ARC Street team, and I got the early ARC, and I just started it last night. These are the authors of Riftborn and Duskbound. That will be the Esprithian trilogy, but there is a little bit like overlapping, apparently, with the Ascended. That's going to be its own duology. But I have seen nothing but people raving, absolutely raving about The Ascended and how beautiful the writing is, how incredible the storyline is, the world building, the characters, and everything. So when I saw that in my inbox yesterday, I immediately threw everything and went to download it onto my Kindle. Immediately. Hello? So I did start it last night. I'm not very far into it. I'm like 65 pages into it so far. This is a chunky girl. This is on Kindle, 838 pages. But you know what? I am sat for every single second of it because I was obsessed with Riftborn and Duskbound. They're indie authors and they are so incredible. Parker Lennox is the one that does their illustrations, does the cover art, does everything. And they are just some incredibly talented women. Oh, man. This book follows, I think her name is Thais? I don't really know. Thais. Thais. So this follows her, and she has a twin brother, her and Thatcher. And they are, from what I've gathered so far, is that she and her brother, they are descended from the gods, like a direct line descendant. And every 5 years these priests come around to the villages trying to find these children that are descended from the gods, so then they can put them through the ascended trials. They can go through the ascension process to be determined on what all that entails. So there will be games and trials. That's very exciting. But yeah, overall I'm really enjoying it so far. I can't put it down. So that's always great when you want to binge a book. So I'll have to come back on here and update once I kind of get a little bit more of an idea of what's happening. I do know that she does have some magical power that she is not supposed to have, and because she does have it, these priests are on the lookout for her. Yeah, that's where we're at in the story. So I'm also still working on, if you watched my update from last week, I was still working on Emily Henry Happy Place. I'm still working on that. I'm 56% of the way through. I have like 11 days left on my Libby hold, so I'll be able to finish it within there. I'm hoping I can finish it, within the next couple of days. I placed a hold for a couple of things though. I have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez on a hold. It says it's about 2 weeks. I also placed The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood on a hold. That says it's about 16 weeks. I want to read that and or listen to it before this movie comes out. I keep seeing everybody talk about this book and then the movie that's coming out. So it says I'm 105th in line. So I don't know how quickly that will come up, because otherwise I don't know what else. I have to figure out what I'm going to listen to for this week. I did download Hoopla, but I have not been able to find anything on Hoopla that I want to read. Yes, like I said, today is Monday, starting off strong with our weekly reading update. I'll pop back on as soon as I feel like I have another update I want to talk about, or when I finish a book, whichever comes first. So I will see you soon. Hello friends, today it is Wednesday and I just finished Happy Place by Emily Henry this morning, and overall I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my all-time favorite contemporary romance. I did, however, really enjoy Harriet's character. Wynn kind of bothered me a little bit. If you saw my last reading update, then you saw I kind of went into a little bit of detail about what Happy Place is about. If you didn't watch that, essentially this is like a second chance romance between Harriet and Wynn. They had gotten connected in college and they had been together for about 10 years, and then they ended up going their separate ways. Their friend has a vacation home in Maine and they all go there, and that is their happy place. And come to find out, the friend, her father, is selling that home, so this is going to be their last vacation there. So she invites everybody, and Harriet and Wynn decided not to tell anybody that they were broken up. They were actually engaged. So when they get there, they have to pretend that they are still together. So it's kind of like a fake fiance situation and a second chance romance at the same time. And I really liked that. It was cute. I will say Wynn kind of bothered me a little bit. Towards the end, he definitely grew on me. It's fun to watch these characters go through this character development just in a 400-page book. But I really enjoyed Harriet's character. She is the people pleaser and she wants to do what everybody else wants her to. She wants to keep the peace. She wants to please everybody. She wants people to be proud of her. I will say it was really cute. It wasn't my favorite Emily Henry book so far. I still liked Funny Story more. This is first person, single point of view perspective, just the single narration by Julia Whelan. And again, she does a fabulous job. If you have yet to listen to a Julia Whelan narration, you definitely should. You're missing out because she is incredible. She really is. But yeah, overall, I still really enjoyed it. I think it was a cute book. It definitely had me feeling some things. So I am still currently reading The Ascended by Greenwich and Lennox, and it's getting really good. Now this is a long book, and again, I did get this as an ARC. This is like 800 pages. Yeah, so it is taking me a little while. I think I'm on page 178. I'm like 20% of the way through, and things are really starting to pick up. It's not that it wasn't ever picking up. Things are really starting to get moving, get going. So there's trials to come. Our FMC Theus, her and her twin brother are the product of a mortal and a god. She has very obviously been blessed. She has magical powers, and there's this priesthood that goes around in search of these divine blessed in order to push them through the ascension, these trials to become gods. So far, it's really been fun. It's really interesting. This writing is so incredible. Every time I am reading the book, I am locked in, okay? I am locked in. You couldn't pry that book from my hand if you tried. Like, there's no way. I've been really enjoying it. I'm curious to see how these trials look. I'm really excited. I'm very excited to continue reading. So now I have a couple of audiobook options from Libby. I have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and I also have Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. That one is 24 hours of audio. My God, dang. And it's also a fantasy romance, so I'm not really sure how I'll feel, if there's like a lot of world building, which I don't believe that there is. I think this one is mainly just a spice fest. So I don't think that there's going to be too much world building where I will get lost and confused if I'm listening to it. So we're going to try it. I think what I'm going to do first, though, is Yours Truly, because I really want to dive back into a Abby Jimenez book. I really enjoyed Part of Your World, so I want to do that. And then, yeah, that's where we're at. I'm hoping to finish The Ascended by at least Friday or Saturday, knowing that it is a bigger book and knowing that there is a lot of world building, a lot going on. I know that this is probably going to take me a little bit longer than it generally does, especially starting off a new book in the series, and it's got a lot of world building, very intricate and complex world building, and there's a lot of gods and, stuff that I need to be paying very close attention to. So I'm giving myself a little more time with that. But so far, yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're on Wednesday. Yeah, we're on Wednesday, and so far we finished A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly by Sophia St. Germain and Happy Place by Emily Henry. So my goal for myself is generally 2 books a week, and anything more than that is just, an added bonus. We're doing good. We've already met that, and it's Wednesday, so I have nothing more to say to that. I'll come back and update when I feel like I need to chat with you guys or when I finish a book, whichever comes first, and we'll go from there. Today it is Friday and I haven't finished a book yet. However, I wanted to come on here and yap. Okay, I had to. So I am 55% of the way into Yours Truly. You guys, why did I wait so long to read this book? First and foremost, why did I take so long to read this book? My cat also has questions and things he wants to say. Yeah. I really genuinely don't know why I didn't read any Abby Jimenez book before, but I am obsessed. I really am. I am loving it so much. I am listening to it on audio. It is dual narrated, dual point of view. While we're on that topic also, the female narrator, I don't really care for her voice that much, to be honest. It's not too much where it's like actually bothering me, but the man, his narration is perfect. He is exactly how I would envision Jacob sounding. I'm not sure that I ever really touched on what Yours Truly is about, but our FMC Brianna, she also, no one told me that this was interconnected. to Part of Your World. So from Part of Your World, Alexis, she had a group of doctor friends, and Brianna is one of them, was one of her best friends. But this follows Brianna. She was one of the ER physicians working alongside Alexis from A Part of Your World, but she is hoping to get this chief position at the hospital, and then the former chief is like, well, hang on, let's wait because I have another viable option. He's coming from a different hospital, Dr. Jacob Maddox. And when I tell you I'm obsessed with him, I really am. They kind of get off on the wrong foot when they first meet. And Jacob, my poor little baby Jacob, he had just gotten out of a relationship, and then his former girlfriend is now dating his brother. And then come to find out they're going to be getting married. First of all, shame on her. So in order for him to convince his family that he truly is moving on and that he's doing okay, he decides to ask Brianna to essentially be his fake girlfriend and go through all these family events where, you know, the engagement party, the wedding, etc. That way his family is convinced that like he's doing okay, because his family wants to go up to bat for him, you know, try to be on his side versus his brother's side, because, you know, what the hell? That was a dirty dog move. I relate to him more than I do Brianna. Brianna, she's also just gotten out of a relationship where her former husband was a cheater. She's sworn off any kind of relationship, and then that's why she's like, you know, I guess a fake relationship is fine. That's fine. But it is so, so good. And Jacob, like I said, he is honestly so relatable because he carries so much anxiety. Me too. Social anxiety, he's an introvert, he overanalyzes everything, and his dialogue is just so relatable. You know, he's thinking about they're going to a new restaurant. Well, where do I need to park? What kind of food do they have? Is it going to be loud in there? Are there going to be a lot of people there? How do I mentally prepare myself? So I absolutely adore Jacob, and I love the mental health, the anxiety representation in this book. He is such a relatable character. He is so sweet, and he picks up on these things for Brianna, like, you know, that she likes and doesn't like, and she can read him so well. She's like, you know, I'm not going to do this because I know it's going to make him anxious, or I'm going to help gently encourage him to go through this situation because I know he's going to be anxious. Oh, the fact that it has taken me this long to read this book is actually disgusting. Yeah, if there are any more books like this that I need to read, please, by all means, let me know, because I'm secretly hating myself for putting this off for so long. Anyhow, I'm really enjoying that. I don't want it to end. It's getting really good. So I'm also still working on The Ascended. I am 67% of the way in on page 554. Yeah, like I said, this is a chunky girl. I'm on chapter 49, but this also is getting so good. Oh my gosh. I feel like I have been reading, you know, there's a couple books that have been just like mid, you know, have been okay, but I have been reading so many incredible books. Incredible. Thais and Thatcher are going through these trials because they're twins. She has already displayed her powers and Thatcher has not. These priests are assuming that Thatcher will also display powers because they're twins and, you know, they have the same lineage. So the odds of him also displaying powers is very high. But these trials are no freaking joke. I knew that they were going to be like deadly trials, but they are so different from what's already out there. I honestly was kind of over trials because it's been done so many times, you know, really another trial. But these trials are so different. The whole world building is so intricate and complex. And I will say it did take me almost like 140 pages to really fully understand, really grasp like what is going on. But Thais and Thatcher are going through these ascended trials. Because they are descended from the gods, they have to go through these ascension trials in order for them to become gods. Let me say, Zool, the main male character, he is the Prince of Death. He is a necromancer. He is the warden of the death realm, essentially, and he can get it. He can get it. He is so swoon worthy. Literally everything that comes out of his mouth, I'm highlighting. I don't know. But I have highlighted just about damn near everything that Zool has said. He's very broody. He's very misunderstood. And I love that about the main male characters in a lot of these romantasy books, when they have this dark and broody personality, and a lot of people are like, you know, he's terrible. He's so mean. He doesn't like anybody, you know, but then guess what? He has a reason why. And then you figure out the reason and it just makes you want to love him even more. I love that. Truly, I really do. But Theus also, she is a grade A badass. She is coming to terms with her power. She is really growing into her own. And I'm so sat for this whole book. I am sat for this series. This will be a duology, but I'm really hoping I can get it finished maybe today. Hopefully by tomorrow. Hopefully by tomorrow. That way I can have a full 554, and I think it's like 800 pages. I don't know. We'll see. I will let you know. Hopefully, again, yours truly, I'll be able to finish by at least Sunday. That's where we're at right now. I am having so much fun. If you cannot tell, I cannot stop grinning. I cannot stop laughing. I'm giggling. I'm blushing. I'm just having so much fun. Really, I am. I have been reading nothing but bangers, it feels like. And even the ones that are mid, I'm still having fun with them. So that's what this is all about, is having fun, okay? And people want to dog on you for reading romance books or reading whatever. Whatever. Read whatever the hell you want. Who cares? Read whatever makes you happy, baby. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Anyhow, I have yapped for far too long in this little recap. So again, I will come back when I need to update or when I have finished a book, whichever comes first. Hello friends, so today it is Saturday. Last night I finished The Ascended by Greenwich and Lennox. Wow, what an incredible first installment in a duology. I am actually floored. The character development, the world building is so intricate. I'm like speechless. Last night I probably should not have finished it at midnight because I could not stop thinking about it. Yeah. It took me like 30 minutes to wind down from the ending of that book just so I could go to sleep. Also, I want to mention that the crossover in that book, so you don't have to read Riftborn and Duskbound, but I personally would, because I think it would enhance the reading experience, and it would also give you a little bit of background on the world, because this is in the same universe. It's different realms, and I think it's a different time period as well. They do have some crossing over, but like I said, it was such an incredible read. There was a couple of things that I did find that I was able to predict, which I don't personally mind because I think it's fun. I'm like, oh shit, I got that right. Like I'm on track. I'm understanding where this book is going. Like I'm not mad about that at all. I think that the hints were dropped subtly enough that it's not right in your face, that you still kind of have some questioning. But the end of this book, this first book isn't even out yet, and I am already thinking about where the second book is going to go. It's so good. It's perfect that this book is going to be released in October, just in time to add to your fall TBR. It definitely leans more to the darker fantasy romance, not in terms of the substance or the themes in the book, more so the atmosphere and the elements that are in the book. I mean, our MMC is the Prince of Death, so you know, it was so good. It honestly didn't even feel like 800 plus pages on Kindle. It was very fast paced, lots of action, lots of things happening. There really weren't too many moments where it was kind of a lull in the story. Even if it was kind of starting to slow down, there was something to be learned in that moment. So I really enjoyed it. I really did. If you are wanting to dive into some fantasy romance that is not the same regurgitated fantasy romance books, I would definitely start with Riftborn and Duskbound first, and then in October, on October 7th, then The Ascended. The third book in the Esprithian trilogy, I believe, is set to be released next year. This book made me really want to go and reread Riftborn and Duskbound. I'm not going to yet. I'm going to wait until next year, closer to the release date of Realmblade, but I just love their writing. It is so immersive. Their writing really captivates you. It really hooks you. Once you're reading their book, like, you are locked in, you know? Yeah, it was so good. Such a fun time. And I did end up finishing Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and that was also so good. I am obsessed. I really am. I will say, like, the last 10% of the book, I was kind of like, you know, is that necessary? The rest of the book was so good that it's not going to change how I feel about it. It still had a happily ever after. I really enjoyed the mental health and the anxiety representation of Jacob. That's something that's just so relatable for me personally. But yeah, that is where we're at right now. I had so much fun last night up until this morning. It's been great. I've been having a fantastic time. Now for what's next. I'm really not sure what I'm going to pick, and tomorrow is Sunday, so it starts our new week. If you like this kind of video, then please make sure you like and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on a new weekly reading update video every Sunday and some other bookish content on Wednesday. We ended up reading 4 books again this week. I promise I do also do other things other than read. It sometimes doesn't seem that way. But so we ended up reading A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly by Sophia St. Germain, Happy Place by Emily Henry, The Ascended by Lennox and Greenwich, and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. That's a good week. That is a good week. Stay tuned for next Sunday to see what books I choose to read throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a wonderful reading week. And until next time.